Hello guys, welcome to IAMABIKER, and today we're riding something very electric. This is the new TVS iQUBE. We brought out the features video a couple of days back during its launch. Let's see how it rides. We already rode it and I'll tell you what it's like to ride an electric, and I'll take you through the numbers first. Important numbers that you should know: it's got a 4.4 kilowatt motor. It has a battery rated at 2.25 kilowatt. It charges in about 4 to 5 hours, and what you get is a range of 75 kilometers in economy mode, and once you switch mode to power mode, you get a range of about 55 kilometers. So in economy mode, the top speed is limited to about 45-47, so that the motor is much more efficient. In power mode, it goes all the way to 78-80. So for city usage, I guess when you're slowly pottering around town, you just need about that much of speed. Around 45-47 is more than enough. So in that mode, you get close to 75 kilometers range on a single charge. Okay, now for those of whom who are concerned about the weight regard, because it's got a battery pack, etc., the curb weight of this is 118 kg. So it's pretty much at par with regular scooters out there, just maybe a little bit higher, but overall I think you don't feel that weight at all when you're riding it. So how is it to ride? We came with a little bit of a question in our heads, because we're in a couple of other electric scooters, but the moment you sit on it, the moment you ride it, you immediately felt that these were electric. TVS, at least at the launch, they told us that the whole idea behind this was you should not feel like a huge transition between a normal scooter and an electric. When we rode it, well, first impression, you sit on it, everything seems normal, everything feels like a regular scooter, it looks like a regular scooter. I like the white color, it looks good. Right now it's only available in white, by the way. You start riding it, the one thing you miss, yes, of course, is the sound, but you have a lot of usable torque in this one. So being an electric motor, you have instant torque available, and TVS have programmed this motor in such a way that it's not an overwhelming amount of torque, so that even with a pillion, it feels much more simpler than a regular scooter. Because in a regular scooter, when you have a pillion, you need to like whack open the throttle, but this one is just, it's able to handle the load. So for a regular city use, it should be fine without any issues. So now, do I miss anything from a regular scooter? No, not really. There are things to get used to, of course. Like when you're riding, basically my sort of riding style is that I hear the RPMs and sort of modulate the throttle like that. But in this one, there's a bit of a learning curve, because you have to trust the motor, because it is there, it is working, and you just need to trust it and make sure that you trust the machine, because the machine is definitely doing its thing, and so silent, it's so smooth. This scooter is very refined as well. Once you're on the go, only thing you hear is like a nothing else. That's all that you hear. Coming to the handling dynamics, another thing that I really like is that, like I told earlier, that they want to make it feel like a normal scooter. In fact, they have gone one step further. Now, what they have achieved with their top of the line scooter currently, that is the N-Torque, is that scooter feels very nimble, very sporty. This also feels similar that way. Maybe not as much sporty like an N-Torque, but it definitely feels very planted. It feels really comfortable to ride. The front telescopic suspensions, some of the other electric scooter brands don't have it. But all these things make a difference. It's much more comfortable. The tires are good. We were riding it on the track here. Basically, it is a big right-hander. A little bit of, you can carry a decent amount of speeds, and these provide good amount of confidence. You actually feel like pushing the scooter, which you don't normally feel like. And that whole idea of it being just a normal scooter, I think, is one step ahead. It actually feels fun to ride. Coming to the basic requirements of a scooter, now you have enough under seat storage, you have LED headlight, a good comfortable seats. I like the brakes. It's got disc brake at the front and it's got the regular brake at the rear. There's no issues. The brakes feel sharp, brakes feel confident. You don't really miss anything, and they do stop when you really want it to stop. Now coming to the motor, it is a hub motor, which means that the motor is encased within the wheel hub that you see here, and it's pretty zero maintenance sort of a setup. There are other ways to mount the motor, but TVS has chosen to use this because with their testing they found it most efficient in this sort of a configuration. Now, since we are already here, you see this nice blue TVS electric, and the electric is lit up. Now this particular light lights up only when the scooter is at halt, so it's more of a aesthetic design, nothing relevant according to, but I think it looks good and adds a lot of funk. Especially I think during the evenings and nights when you're riding. When you stop somewhere, this lights up and should grab a lot of attention to the scooter. Now, since we're already here, we'll also talk about suspension. It's not a single monoshock. It's actually a dual suspension setup, which basically means, more comfort. Things feel much more planted, and it feels, and it is adjustable as well. So the total battery capacity is actually split through 3 batteries. There is one battery which is here under the footboard, and there are 2 placed over here. So it is essentially done is that it is freed up space under the seat. So just like a regular scooter, you still have plenty of storage space beneath the seat. There's no compromise there. And while we're here, there is a light here, and then there is a USB charging port here as well. While we're talking about space, under seat space, etc., one thing that TVS has done to make this vehicle sort of future-proof, or this design future-proof, is that all this low center of gravity packing of the battery and under seat space has also freed up space over here. So eventually, when the infrastructure, everything is properly set across India, they can easily add a fast charging port, which would be from here. So it would not be probably retrofittable to the existing ones, but it would definitely be available in newer models when the infrastructure is up. So how does the scooter charge? Well, this is the charging port, and you get a wiring harness with the scooter, and that plugs right in here, and you can plug into your regular 5 amp socket at your home. But additionally, I think the first few customers are also going to get a charging hub, which works as something where they'll come and install it the previous day. You get the scooter delivered at your home, and you get an RFID key. So you just plug it in, tap the RFID, and it starts charging. Another facility that TVS will offer is that their service stations or their dealerships will be also available as charging stations. So wherever you are dropping down on juice on your batteries, you can hop in there, keep it for charging, enjoy coffee while it charges. Apart from all of this, there is another interesting thing that is on the scooter. That is the 5-inch screen up front. It's quite intuitive, it looks pretty good, it's quite fancy actually. Let's take you through what the different menus and modes are. So this is how it starts up. Makes a nice musical sound. Well, that's not my name, somebody else's name. So this is the main screen that comes up immediately once you key the key in, and it shows the number of and the percentage of battery remaining and the range associated with that percentage. So this is by default showing in eco mode. Now to go into ride mode, basically you need to press the mode button that you see over here on your right, and you have to depress the brake, and then it goes into the ride screen. So right now the scooter is active. If you give accelerator now, the wheel starts turning. So right now we're on center stand. I'll just show you. You see the numbers are rising. So now here you have 2 modes. This is the eco mode and this is the power mode. Right now it's in eco mode, and once you press the button, once you press the mode button, it goes into power mode. I press the park assist button. I'll tell you what that is in a second. So right now it's in power mode, and immediately you see a different range, because power mode you have all the power available, and so the range automatically comes down a little bit. So I'm going back to eco as well. Now this has got another unique feature, which is basically the parking assist. So what it does is once you again hold the brake and you press the parking button that is over here. So now if you give a throttle, it moves ahead in about 3 to 5 kilometers per hour speed, and it works even on a gradient, and does the same speed in the gradient. Interestingly, it will also do reverse. So you press the parking button once more, it goes into reverse and starts making the beeping sound, and again it will go in reverse. So what it does is essentially help a lot of people in parking in tricky spots, maybe ladies or elderly people who are not used to the weight of the scooter. Not that it is heavy, but in general they might not be used to pushing scooters around. To again go out of it, you again hold the brake and you depress it, and you're back to your idle screen. Now apart from that, things are pretty much standard like a regular scooter. Interestingly, you also have a hazard switch. Yeah, that's the one. Now the main concern with battery technology is that batteries are most efficient in a particular temperature range. So there is something called as a battery management system, which basically makes sure that the right battery or the right amount of power and the right usage is done so that the batteries work at optimal temperature. And also, if you see these gaps over here, these are vents over here. Basically, these are all to ensure good airflow around the battery so that they do not overheat. The battery also has been designed in such a way that it gives maximum life. So only 85% of the battery is what we can use, and that is the number which they are telling us. The battery is actually of higher capacity. And another interesting feature that the scooter has is it's got regenerative braking. So whenever you roll off the throttle, whenever you do braking, the hub motor basically runs in reverse, and it generates a slight amount of charge to charge the batteries again. So it doesn't make a huge difference, but yes, it actually gives you much better efficiency for the battery. And one thing which I find quite funky is the key fob. And I hope they remove that sound. Okay, and it's also got a torch, small torch built into it. Is it burning? Yeah, it's burning. So it's quite funky additions. Now it makes the overall ownership experience fun, right? Also, what you get is the TVS SmartXonnect. Now it has got a different app, and it has got a different the way of showing stuff. So it has turn-by-turn navigation, call alerts, and also it's got an inbuilt eSIM, so you can keep track of how much charge without even being near the scooter, how much charge is there. If you have kept it for charging, has it being charged? Interesting features like that. It also has got geo-fencing. So geo-fencing is basically you can designate a radius around your current location or current home location. Only in that area the scooter will work. And also after ride, you can see your ride details, how much charge it took, how much kilometers, and all sorts of information like that. So all in all, TVS set out to make an electric scooter which does not feel like an electric scooter, which does not feel like a huge departure from your normal scooter. And I think they have achieved it. And when I ride it, I never really felt like it is an electric scooter. And maybe yes, obviously the sound is not there, but it has got the same dynamics. In fact, it's got better dynamics than a lot of the scooters out there, and it feels planted. It's easy to ride, and the electric experience is also good. Yes, there are some challenges infrastructure wise, charging wise, but think about this: if your daily commute is less than 50 kilometers to and from office, or just going around town, and then this makes a huge statement in terms of usability and affordability of you're not dependent on petrol. It's much more cheaper. It takes about 2 to 3 units of power, electric power to charge this, and the overall for 50 kilometers you're spending about $30, or 70 kilometers spending about $30. So it makes it's much more greener, it's much more friendly. It's actually quite funky, with the LCD screen and different power modes. We were having fun with the power mode. So when it's an eco, it limits itself to 46, 45, and then we boom, power mode, and go all the way to 78. It's fun, it's quirky, it's good, and I think definitely electric is the way forward, and this is definitely a good product. I would recommend it. Do let me know what you think about it, and if you have any concerns and questions regarding this, I'll leave them in the comment below, and we'll definitely get back to you immediately. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.